The Drew Carey Show theme song was right. Cleveland does indeed rock. Unfortunately, many people are completely in the dark about just how wonderful this great Midwestern city really is. We're here to tell you that the Cleveland of today is pretty flippin' cool. Even those neighborhoods that used to be a bit on the rougher side decades ago are now packed full of excellent restaurants, galleries, boutique shops, and cafes. If you ask a local Clevelander today what they think of their city, they'll likely tell you they're extremely proud of their hometown. After watching this video and seeing all the amazing sights to see and things to do in Cleveland, we're willing to bet you'll also start thinking about this northeastern Ohio metropolis in a different light. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. While New York City was once in the running to host this phenomenal museum and venue, ultimately it went to Cleveland. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, without a doubt, one of, if not the most popular attraction in the city. Ever since it opened its doors in 1995, more than 9 million guests, musicians, and stars have passed through its doors. The museum features several permanent and temporary exhibitions, as well as special collections and memorabilia from some of the most influential eras of rock and roll. If you're a fan of classic rock bands like the Beatles, Cream, AC/DC, Metallica, or the Rolling Stones, you'll find it easy to get lost in the museum's well-curated collections. The museum also hosts lectures, film screenings, panel discussions, and live rock music performances fairly regularly, so it's recommended you consult their event schedule before visiting. The most famous event held here, however, is the annual Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony held in April. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Viewcation if you haven't already. And keep watching to learn why we think Cleveland is one of the most underrated cities in the country. Cleveland Metroparks. Cleveland's massive metropolitan park system is comprised of 21,000 acres of nature preserves. Throughout the greater Cleveland area, 18 parks and reservations offer visitors a variety of outdoor activities like hiking, biking, fishing, boating, and horseback riding. Guests can also expand their knowledge about the reservations at any of the park system's 10 visitor centers or participate in group programs like animal tracking and nature exploration. The Metroparks are also great places to have a picnic, read a book, or escape the heat of the summer in the shadow of a shady tree. West Side Market. Cleveland's oldest publicly owned open-air market was established in 1840. Initially, it was just a swap meet on an unassuming plot of land. But over the years, it's undergone extensive renovation and expansion. After closing down briefly, the West Side Market reopened to the public in 1912 with the addition of its indoor yellow brick marketplace and eye-catching 137-foot-tall clock tower. Throughout the decades, the market has continued to grow and develop. Today, more than 100 vendors converge to sell items from all over the world. Visitors can find items for sale like fresh produce, animal products like meats and cheeses, baked goods, and even flowers. But it's not all just about food and flora either. Handmade goods, jewelry, crafts, and artwork can also be purchased here. And while you're shopping, you'll probably work up a bit of an appetite. Fortunately, the market also has a variety of food vendors that serve up ready-to-eat items. And even if you're not the sort of person obsessed with shopping just for the sake of shopping, the architecture of this historic market alone is well worth a visit. Cleveland Museum of Art. While Cleveland's art museum isn't that big, it still stacks up with some of the best art museums out there. Every year, more than 500,000 visitors from all over the globe make a stop here. It was opened in 1913, and today it houses more than 61,000 pieces of artwork, spanning 6,000 years of human creativity. The exhibits are organized chronologically and include photos, paintings, sculptures, and art installations from some of the world's most celebrated artists, including Claude Monet, Picasso, Van Gogh, and Salvador Dali. The museum also hosts special temporary exhibits and events like the Solstice Summer Music Festival. Cleveland Botanical Garden. This natural oasis can be found right in the middle of Cleveland's urban concrete jungle. The Botanical Gardens opened in 1930, and the property is made up of 10 acres of outdoor gardens in addition to an 18,000-square-foot glasshouse arboretum. You can easily spend an entire day meandering through 11 different themed gardens, such as the Inspiration Garden and Japanese Garden. Inside the greenhouse, you'll find a butterfly-filled rainforest exhibit modeled after Costa Rica and a desert environment that features succulents and plant life from Madagascar. Over 350 species of exotic and beautiful plants and 50 species of amphibians, reptiles, and birds are also showcased here. If you're visiting with children, the Hershey Children's Garden, which features a fountain and treehouse, is sure to entertain them for quite some time. The gardens also offer plenty of activities well suited for adults and families, like arts and crafts, butterfly releases, and even yoga. Cleveland Museum of Natural History. Over at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History, you and your family can learn all about the natural world and millions of years of its history while exploring a variety of permanent and rotating exhibits. There's something for everyone here. You can expand your knowledge of dinosaurs from different prehistoric eras, meet Balto the Alaskan sled dog, or catch a stellar show at Ohio's very first planetarium. After spending the day experiencing what it feels like to experience a 5.5 magnitude earthquake and digging up faux dinosaur bones, make sure you visit the Smead Discovery Center, Perkins Wildlife Center, and Shafran Planetarium and Mueller Observatory. All these facilities can be found on the same property as the Natural History Museum. Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. This 130-acre zoo is divided into several distinct areas, such as the African savanna, the rainforest, waterfowl lake, and Australian adventure. The zoo also features the largest collection of primates in North America. Founded in 1882, the zoo is one of the most popular year-round attractions in the region. Over 3,000 animals, representing 600 different species, call Cleveland Metroparks Zoo their home. The zoo features all the standard zoo amenities such as animal viewing, gift shops, and dining, but they also offer more educational experiences as well. Visitors can participate in several hands-on activities such as giraffe feeding, camel rides, and overnight programs that give animal lovers the opportunity to spend the night at the zoo in safari tents while going on behind-the-scenes tours and night hikes. Progressive Field. Home of the Cleveland Guardians, formerly the Indians, a visit to Progressive Field is sure to be a hit with sports fans, whether you're attending an actual Major League Baseball game or just taking a tour. If you do happen to be in town when the Guardians are playing, you should consider getting tickets, as this will be the most authentic way to experience Progressive Field in all of its glory. There really isn't a bad seat in the house, and concessions are reasonably priced. Plus, if you're on a budget, seats in the stadium's upper reserve sections are only $9 regardless of who the Guardians are playing. A Christmas Story House. This 19th century Victorian house located in Cleveland's Tremont neighborhood was used for the exterior and some of the interior shots in the 1983 holiday film A Christmas Story. Today, Ralphie Parker's house has been restored and renovated and is part of a museum made up of 4 buildings devoted to celebrating the film's enduring legacy. The museum features costumes, props, and memorabilia from director Bob Clark's film. There's even a gift shop if you want to take some of the movie magic back home with you. Even if you've never seen the film, you'll leave as a certifiable A Christmas Story fan. Visitors are immersed in behind-the-scenes details and trivia. You might even learn a few secrets about the film you never knew. If you're planning to pay a visit to the museum, we recommend watching the film before taking the tour. USS Cod Submarine Memorial. Right next door to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is this must-see National Historic Landmark. Under the leadership of Commander James Dempsey, this World War II submarine was placed in commission on June 21, 1943. It's particularly notable from a historical perspective for performing the only international sub-to-sub rescue in history. After all these years, it still looks exactly the same. You can either take a self-guided tour or have an informed guide show you around the sub. Even if you hadn't planned on visiting this destination, after spending the day exploring the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, make sure you at least make a brief pit stop by the memorial to pay your respects to the 4,000 men and women who lost their lives aboard American submarines. It should be noted, however, that the entrance and exit are through the original hatchway. This means some of the hallways are fairly narrow, and the ladders can be steep. As such, it might not be the best place for those who are handicapped, claustrophobic, elderly, or for families with small children. Now it's time to hear from you. Did we miss any great parts of Cleveland you'd like to point out? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Viewcation if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.